Well, last night on this show, I told you that the coalition and Peter Dutton was ramping up his attack on the Prime Minister over his broken promise on the Stage 3 tax cuts and that they'd be launching an attack ad against Labor. Well, that rolled out today. Have a look.
There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
They've been legislated. We support them. We stand by that.
Joining me now, National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie and former Labor MP Michael Danby. Terrific political panel tonight. Great to see you both.
Evening.
Bridget, clearly the government's trying to put the pressure back onto Peter Dutton, to you and the coalition, to say whether you're going to support Labor's tax package. These ads have rolled out today. Dutton clearly wants to let Albanese stew in his broken promise for a bit longer, but ultimately you will have to make a decision. Where do you expect the coalition will land on this?
Well, Shari, this ad absolutely articulates for the Australian public the fact that Anthony Albanese and his government completely misled and lied to the Australian government, to the Australian people. And it's something that Australians need to be very, very clear about, because anything these guys and gals say for the next 18 months can't be believed. And that is the essential issue. Now, when it comes to whether the coalition will be voting for the legislation, yet to be seen, on these tax changes, we really do need to see the detail. We need to understand the impact on the bottom line. We think that Treasury has modelled this, that it's going to cost Australians $28 billion more over coming years in taxes than the current legislated tax changes. So there's a whole lot of things we need to assess and weigh up and to understand the types of amendments we will be seeking to move.
Ultimately, it would be political suicide, wouldn't it, if the coalition voted against more tax relief for vulnerable Australians when we're in this cost of living crisis?
Well, the coalition will always be the lower taxing side of Parliament. We always have been, we always will be, and heading into the next election, that will absolutely be the case. I mean, Australians are already paying 27% more in taxes just in the last 18 months as a result of the change in government. So we will be making our position very, very clear, but I'm wondering when Treasury was actually asked to model these changes, how long ago had the government been thinking about this tax change? They're the sorts of questions we're going to be prosecuting in Senate inquiries, because people need to understand, was this just a thought bubble over summer? Because Australians have been struggling with the cost of living crisis for a lot longer, and despite everything, Australians with a $750,000 mortgage are still paying an additional $24,000 a year to keep their own home. Yeah. So tax changes aside, this legislation aside, won't change anything.
Yeah. Michael, there was some good news today that, you know, there's even hope that there could be an interest rate cut when the RBA meets next Tuesday. The latest inflation data showing a drop to 4.1% in December compared to 5.4% in September. I mean, this isn't back to the target range, but look, it's good news. It's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, well, Albo will be hoping that the booing at the tennis wasn't his Brandon moment, like President Biden experienced. But no one in Australia denigrates good developments for the average person, and interest rates are crucial to people's mortgage repayments, and it's an absolutely vital stake. You'll see what happens, I think, as a result of this change in promises. Although it benefits a lot of people, I think a lot of people might just take it, and the booing at the tennis might be symptomatic of the fact that some people don't like broken promises, even if it doesn't affect them.
Bridget, we're learning today that a live export ship of 15,000 Australian sheep has been forced to turn around to avoid the Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. I mean, our sheep now. This ship with 15,000 sheep is stuck off the West Australian coast. There's bureaucratic biosecurity red tape now. I mean, this is quite extraordinary. We refused to send a warship to the Red Sea. Now we've had export ships turn around. This is actually starting to have quite a severe impact on our own import and exports.
And I think it shows the folly of not joining our allies in the need to actually deal with the Houthis in the Red Sea and those shipping laneways being blocked, not just for freight and trade issues for our allies, but for us here at home. It does have an impact. We export 80% of what we grow here on our farms right throughout the country. So keeping the seaways open across the world is critical to our own economic development. Now, with this particular ship, it has been ordered back. My understanding, there is no animal welfare concern. We have the highest animal welfare standards in the world when it comes to the export of live cattle and sheep, and we need to be proud of that. So I can absolutely report that those strict regulations that we've got in place to ensure animal welfare standards are met are in place, and it is just, again, highlighting the need for this government needs to get their act together when it comes to joining our allies and joining the fight.